Alright, we're live in effect once again in the world of Radioland. And if you are sick of waking up tired and feeling all fresh, you can get your fresh back now here for $9.59 at your local store. Now it depends. But if you're back in Australia, Mike, we can get you a deal down here back in outside good. Oh, Mike, yeah, whatever. Anyway, hope everybody's doing good. Hope everyone's feeling great. Just coming through impromptu stream, as the thing said. Yeah, just doing it, trying to few things are above I guess. But just maybe waiting for a few people. If everybody comes through, want to come up and just see what's on the plate. But um, you know, life's going on. Much peace to all, everybody. High grade only. Um, you know, I think. Well, things have been rotating great and nicely. I mean, although I guess from my perspective, yeah, it's been doing brilliantly, but it depends. We've got to try and focus on what everybody's looking at, I guess, or what you're looking at. Um, you know, right now you're probably looking at this avatar, and that's about it. Listening to his voice, but it seems a lot of people just like fallen. I guess it's always been the way social conditioning. People fall into the trends, people fall into the traps. I'm just seeing this as a kind of I'm reaching up the decade and things like this, so it's like and then we might kind of like um oh shit, actually that's geez, isn't that amazing? But anyway, um right, I guess of kind of clarity and it keeps going, but you're gonna keep learning as you grow. Everybody's on a different level. Depends on if your guardianship or your parents who are there, how they display the images, what environment you step into. I don't have all the answers either. Um, I'm definitely one, to say that most specifically, but you got to be yourself and follow your intuition. That's something I do try to say. Follow your gut instincts, follow you know what's right for yourself. Animals know what's right for themselves. Plants know what's right for themselves. They do what they do. It's part of nature. So, I don't know, man. There's just so much distraction continue. But it's cool. It's part of it. You've got to bear with it. Keep up with the pace. Keep working. Keep creative. And keep, what's that? Progressing. Not progressing, but progressing your mentality, image, um, things like that. Like just not keeping up with the trend, but just staying as an artist, or maybe artist. I'll stop that again. Like people that will say staying relevant to the times. Like they'll change their. That's just to keep, I guess, to keep a relevant. I don't know, just an image that's can enables them to keep a career and be viable, create an income, and which creates stability and a foundation to have a platform, raising direction, but then also to keep a level of sanity and satisfaction to the individual, because they seem to be able to fulfill the economic standard and desires they may put, and not only them, but that others put onto them. Uh, so obviously giving them the status of celebrity, or even which there's different levels of that. You could be your local uh, area, your high school, whichever uh, you biosphere, ecology, whichever you're at. Um, yeah, much peace to whoever's in the house. It's not I'm just coming through with an impromptu stream. Either that. Appreciate what you're doing. Um, yeah, but it's time to fucking do change. Yeah, I mean, be realistic. Keep motivated. No matter what, just do what you do what's right for you. Being inside, you know. I mean, I even saying that, I've always very wanted to keep up with the trend. Not even keep up with the trend, actually. I mean, I was very kind of against it because hip hop wasn't very big. Um, but in high school, but now it's like a major, huge. It's global everywhere. It's the biggest thing worldwide, right? But and it's changed in that sense of its nature. Everybody knows that if you were back from when it was uh, created or pioneered, it's got a different feel about it, and a different, because of the, I guess, the marketability of it, and the successfulness of that. But away from that, um, what are we getting at? It was that, like, yeah, I guess, I'm seeing, it must have always been like this, must have always been, and people who are probably twice my age or three times my age have probably seen these generational changes three times over, twice over, or, I mean, just in my life. So I'm saying, like, I was probably not as very as aware to, like, definitely as like I see, and I mean, what was I saying? Like, I wasn't like a trendsetter, but I mean, up with the trends and all that sort of keeping up with the fashions and shit, but it was more like, I would go with this. Like, I wouldn't go, like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I mean, I'd go to school, have a lot of friends, was like, um, very sociable, popular, sporting, was academic, but I never studied really hard. And that's all the way through education, like I made it through tertiary and everything like that, and different sorts of degrees, and was able to and capable of doing it, but I just, that's why I guess my instinctive, it's just, I don't know, something was just me, it's just dissatisfied with the way things work at this current time within this framework and infrastructure of society. So, uh, very grateful to be here in this, like, uh, first, you know, first world. Um, but anyway, getting onto that, see, here we are in the first world now. It's taken me 10 minutes to roll into something, but with a bit of foundation or whatnot, but it's the cancel. Let's say that. I don't know if people have heard of this, but it's supposed to be a new agreement. Um, I had mentioned it previously on a few streams I'd been on, but I hadn't really looked into it. I thought it was something that was already in and had been in play with these political entities and sort of states and things like this. Uh, it was an agreement between basically the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Um, I think, yeah, that's it. Um, so basically, just sorry about the pause, just thinking in my head now. Like, so those basically of the Commonwealth, so Britain, yeah, Canada, uh, people on the American continent will realize the breakup and the um, foundation of Canada, I guess, which is for British heritage, British loyalty, I guess. Australia, penal colony, so kind of a jail initially for the Commonwealth, but as the street says, there's long before that, there was traditional original custodians of this land with culture, um, community, uh, income, trade, everything, like, living in harmony. But anyway, we all, so not, but anyway, but people need to realize this, and that's probably something we need to look and learn, look into, be realistic, um, be honest, admit everything that is true of this, what occurred and what we found and what was and what was, and things have been lost, but we should take back and learn of these cultures, traditions, because they did live in harmony with the earth. And when I say that, it's they were sustainable. They, some of these people were nomadic, and they'd say, oh, they had no houses, had no housing, they're savages. And the reason for the nomadic, most of them, was for the reason of sustainability of the earth. They didn't want to wipe out all the sustenance of the ground from the agriculture, or they didn't want to hunt all the wilderness of the area. So you move, and they moved around to let things grow back, obviously. And that's just the way, it's just like with, living in harmony with nature. It's the type of thing they got, like, they got given a lot of all these resources from the earth, so they have to give back. And that's the way in which way they give back. And it all comes in return. So, that these things we could learn off it, and like, instead of being so kind of driven to be wasteful and use something once and then burn it off, but that's to make that item, there's so much energy and so much pollution and waste going on, just to cause this gratification, satisfaction, or to gratify you, whatever it is, for that instance that it may be, your materialistic means. Now, and it all comes down to, like, corporations, industry, these powerful magnates kind of, doing what they do. But then I guess that all comes down to the human society. So it does come down to, like, our choices that we make. Like, even being here on the stream is getting into, for this message to get out, everybody has to have a device. So they have to board of one of these corporations a device from a store, had to then log on to a service provider and pay for that, and then for people who are doing the content, and everything. It's just, it's just part and parcel of it. But I guess there is whether you could say, well, from my perspective, substance use now, kind of like Dr. Carl Hunt. His message of, like, complete abstinence may not be good. Like it's, it's. I think to me, if if it's in control of you, the substance, and you are, doing your behavior revolves around substance rather than, your choice is to do that at particular times in your life, other than, from as a wind down, or from other times while you've been productive. If you're constantly doing this every day, numerous times a day, then that's just, you're not productive, and it's going to be harmful. Now, but the actual substance is the behavior. It's you doing it numerous times, doing nothing else, which is causing the detriment. Where it's not the actual substance, so you can still be productive, and then have that, you know, time to do what you please. Now, and it's not just do as you please, but it's a mind opening. It's an experience that it's I can say like that is available, and not to say just because it's available do it, but there's these things is things that have been practiced by humans for centuries, thousands of years. So a lot of it is maybe not so much in the sense of the synthetic or the complete chemical molecules, the base narcotics that people are commonly know, but the derivatives, I guess. So from the plant form, the coca plant, from the ephedra, from the poppy plant, so people will be practicing from that, and cannabis, um, mushrooms, so psilocybin, morphine. These are all the derivatives, the cocaine, the amphetamine, THC, and so it's all there. These are wonderful, beautiful things. I think if they are, used in the right, not in the right instance, I say right manner, but in an environment which is safe, educational, knowledgeable, I guess, on the particular individual substance, because they can trigger some people, um, all different ways. Uh, so these things need to be taken into account. But then there is aims there. Now, I have probably floated off into a tangent here. I was talking about the cans of food was like so it's kind of like an agreement between those nations that I mentioned before of the Commonwealth to be trade partners and allow travel, visa free travel, I guess, so you don't have to apply for visas, pay for visas. You want to travel between these countries. Now, some people might, and I've seen a few documentaries. People were saying that, that it won't make much impact because these countries are so far away from each other, right? And in timing and stuff, because all these other the opposed or competitive countries will be able to ship their stock and get information across a lot quicker than say something that's gone from New Zealand to England. Um, so, but in saying that, there's also, I mean, people have pointed out the fact that trade and migration may be coming to an increase between Canada and the United Kingdom, and vice versa, and Australia and New Zealand is in a separate case, respectively. So and vice versa. So like it's just going to be a boost for those two separate uh, like ecosystems of economy, I guess you could say, which all this is as I said, under the Commonwealth, so which is British Crown. Um, one of the most powerful, or the a lot of people is a debatable, but in my opinion, most powerful, uh, you know, political entity in the world. So, um, I'm not sure if it has gone through. And one thing that really did spark me and kind of raise my awareness was, or get my attention and bit of opposition, I guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of to be pessimistic, not no, I don't know, just hesitant about it is the fact that the beast, well, bestiality laws in Canada, the sexual state between owners and pets, the laws that have come out. I don't know how many years exactly they've been there, but they've been there for a fair while. Basically, I think people aren't aware. It's um, owners are allowed to be. I don't know. I shouldn't say the again, but I know that penetration is completely illegal. But I think anything bar that pretty much goes between an owner and a pet. To sum it up in a harsh or just like that. Like, so I mean, I don't. It's just that's quite scary. That's probably something not in our culture over here, and that's another thing. Each different country has its little perks and culture, like, and we've all got to be aware of it, and that's what makes the world beautiful. You know, that's separated. Like, I think there's got to be like, and it's not happening. I guess. Oh shit! If you say it, it's not happening. But the way that things have been going and look like they are deemed to be going, the way internet is, like this is going out to the whole world. Anybody who tunes in this, types it into their browser, will be able to hear this. Me spitting word out into a computer from Australia to the rest of the world. Now, when I was like growing up, 10 years old, 6 years old, these things weren't around. Um, I guess they might have been around for the super elite, but for the mainstream society, the internet was just getting off the ground. It wasn't as popular. Mobile devices were like, actually, they weren't out at that stage. Oh, no, they would have been out. The Nino Brown type things would have been out, but the brick phones. But yeah, like smartphones, iPhones definitely were not out. They were ones when I was like basically in school or high school. Um, so I think, to me, having to realize that, and that's what I said before, how people who trip my age probably have seen this generational change. But I think, those things back then when each country had their borders, had their like own identity, and there was, and they had allies, they had war. That was the shit part about it, and that's all bullshit. But the fact that we had our own little space, own little things, um, I think was good. And that's how it should be. And the people who have the choice to do what they want should go to where they want to go and live within that ideology of thing. But I mean, I don't have the answer. Who knows? It's a pretty fucked up. I should think about it. As I said, I just sat down here and started to talk, so this has come off pretty blasé. But it's. I'd like to see what you think. If you've come this far and you've heard what I've said, I can have a look up cancel. What do you think of it? It's like the agreement between Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom. Um, so, it's time to just take a breather. So, yeah, I think topic I'll leave in conclusion. I was thinking of before, around up probably half an hour. It's been on my mind ever since it's occurred. It's been about a month since the passing of the great Earl Simmons, aka DMX, aka Darkman X. Uh, you know, the great rapper, multi-platinum selling artist, probably only person to have two albums within the same year go multi-platinum. Only hip hop artist, I think, probably. Um, it could be anyway. So he's just, amazing, amazing, most inspirational to so many people. But he had an interview on Drink Champs. A lot of people must have caught it, seen it, and it was a question put to him by Nori, uh, and he's like, why do the fact of not bringing out his um, the character Damien, which is like one of his alter egos or something. Basically, if you've heard his first few albums, I didn't really pay attention to it, to be honest, until it was said and kind of like, listening back. Like I remember hearing all these things, but it's when he put on these voices, and Damien was a kind of a devilish figure, a spirit or whatnot in his head. Um, Spoke with a different accent, different voice, but was always telling him to do the detrimental things and that, it was okay to do these things like drink liquor, smoke drugs, and kill people, rob people. He'd kind of want to, what's the word? Like, not just like make it seem okay in DMX's mind to do these things. And, then on the other side, he'd have his conscious kick in, the other side, and be like, have some remorse or, things to hold him back from not have some moral to not do that. So, but anyway, so that voice plays throughout many songs in DMX's catalog, right, of these first few albums. And Nori said, why didn't you bring that out? Like he was saying he's got to do that. The third album was coming. Sorry, like the latest album was coming out. Kind of even more pioneering stuff where material where he's got artists such as Pop Smoke, which is new. Imagine, DMF, then Pop Smoke. That's, and he had already passed. There was heaps of other collaborations. There was a few of them that were like kind of pioneering out of the ordinary type things now. He and he well basically, but why didn't you? Nori said to him, why wasn't or was there used and why wasn't it used? The sound of Damien. DMX said, this is what I'm trying to get. DMX was saying that to bring out that, to even bring that sort of conscious into it would be kind of giving it life, and he didn't want something to want what that wasn't something that he wanted to happen, right? So what hit me was like, okay, he this huge artist had recorded this final album with this label, big major label and things like that, major talk about everything, but he didn't want to, or he didn't record any more songs with this detrimental um, persona in there, trying to influence himself, which is supposed to put, on the character, and then I guess to me, maybe not influence, but it, uh, even just display to the mainstream public, whoever listen to it, the audience, you know. So and as DMX said, to give it any mind is kind to give it life. So it's giving life, it's giving its own interpretation out there, however you perceive it, and give it its relevant energy, but. That would be the millions and millions and millions of people around the world. So, that's a huge kind of power, power play, I guess. And it's a step in the direction of the. I guess you see all the talk of kind of the brainwashing that people, not brainwash, but the dark occult agenda, I guess. So I could describe it within mainstream media, society, uh, the framework is so it's and he like so basically kind of dragging this out a little bit, but just for the fact that it struck to me is that for him to not record um, these characters on this particular album, even though it was recorded, which is going to be a huge uh, revenue stream for the particular people involved who recorded the project and own the project. But the actual artist, DMX, is not going to experience any of its glory because he's now passed, but it's to me the fact that he didn't put that out there really struck me, like that. Okay, we're gonna, I guess the way I just turned my speech, you can kind of read into it, but like, not make money off this project, but the fact, that he didn't want to keep promoting the occult, that, maybe they didn't want to put, it was, there'll be no more, releasing, DMX won't release any more albums. And that's the case. So, I don't know, it's just a thought. Or maybe, okay, if you come this far, I'd love to hear what you think about it. I'm going to leave it at that. So, much peace and do it at that. Keep it like that. Be at peace. Be in harmony with the. And just be up on that. High grades only. Look forward to a new place, new wave. Um, be strong, be bold, be powerful. But if just be yourself, man, but be respectful. Because I think it shouldn't matter what I think, right? It just is what it is. So, um, expect. I guess I'll put up another one. And the other thought I was thinking, right, and I just to end it, like the new wave. As I was saying before, hip hop may have changed in its mentality and all this sort of thing. So like from where it started and the inspirations of what it was and how it made people um, kind of feel or what it, you know, gave them identity. But it, nowadays you hear a lot of talk of, just still a lot of detrimental promotion, behaviors and all these things. But it is like the people they say they run up on the plug. Uh, for those who don't understand, they'd be like running off on because they're drug dealers, so running off on a business owner, a proprietor, right? So I mean, even saying that, now how is that any way like glorified or should you look up to that and be proud of that behavior? I don't know, but the other part which kind of is like, well, if you're gonna do that, right? Expect others to do it to you, right? So this is like someone that's helped you out respectively and given you an opportunity to maybe get your platform up if you understand what I'm saying. Um, or whatever it may be, right? And this is how it's done. And then he goes and turns around and, you know, bankrupts this other fella. Not bankrupts him, but just makes an economic hit to it. Or whatever, takes his product, right? And then, yeah, thinks that's cool. Or whatever, and then we'll brag about it, be braggadocious about it on an album, on a lyric, or whatever. So, yeah, just think like that's just wrong. Well, for me, it's wrong. That's when I came up. I wasn't like, you got to pay your dues. Certain people had the, everyone knew they had their lane. Different people had the lane. There was the muscle. There was some brains. There was this. There was, the hustlers. There was the thug. There was the, people had all different pieces, parts and pieces, but everybody couldn't do everything. So, and it was required. Like that was, but anyway, like it is what it is. But so, but just yeah, for people that are on that thing, just expect someone to do that to you. Then, expect it. Like, because if that's your attitude, then for one, that's your behavior. So people who are the next generation, that's how they're gonna learn. They're gonna think, all right, that's acceptable, cool enough. Uh, or like yeah, so that's what they've seen. So that's how they believe things go down. Um, so yeah, you'll probably be facing a lot of situations like that, and yeah, like that's just something that's really kind of like mm, yeah. So it's just a sense of a start. It's a first. It's like born to fail. So to me, it's a view of like it's a setup really, because like there's no looking at getting up and getting out. It's just continuation of dangerous behavior, provocative behavior, like and trying to survive within that constantly, which is that's just kind of illogical, really, and that wasn't the aim, the plan of these people who originated these things. Even that, see that idea has been corrupted. So it was to create a way to a better living standard, and a better living conditions, environment, not to show off and to talk braggadocious and still live your whole life within in and out of prison system, and you know, every day once when you're in them, like in society, it's basically you know, a day to day struggle to stay alive with um, possible threats of violence everywhere. So it's just, you know, stupid, really. In looking into that, it's logical, and so that's, you know, all set up for you to fail because you're going to get injured, get hurt. So either go to the hospital or die. So you go to the coroner. So you know that's business for the hospital. It's business for the coroner. Business for the morgue. Um, so you know, funeral homes. So yeah, right. There's one. Now, if you get caught, you're going to jail, or you're going to, you know, if you get caught, you're going to go and see the judge. So there's the law, the courts, they're going to have a job. The police have got a job, and then the prison, they're going to have a job. So it's all another system where you go. Um, or you know, or like you know, or you'll probably just you could that's it. You're gonna, or you'll just be a detriment to yourself in the sense that you're gonna have to go to rehabilitation. You'll fall victim to the drugs yourself, um, or that you know particular lifestyle that you're doing. If you're violent or um, maybe thieving or something, but yeah, I don't have the answer to that. That's it. But, yeah, just some thoughts, man. I mean, I guess if you've come through this far, much peace, man. So there's three thoughts I put out there. Kind of, well, maybe you know, there's a few more, but yeah, there's the main ones there. If you've got any thoughts, comments, you know, I'd love to hear them. I'll read them. Just keep it up. So yeah, I'll leave you all at that. Uh, you know, so, again, once again, much thanks to all the um, people performing in the industry of hip hop, um, entertainment, just all our the traditional custodians of this land, all the indigenous cultures of the earth, my ancestral lineage specifically. Um, I you know give respect and recognition to all that, and hope that you know goodness is blessed upon you. So peace of the person that came through. Watch out. I'm just about to wrap up, and you know, with some conviction, I shall look back and keep with tradition. No opposition to the mainstream reflection that I once skipped. Eh? Because you'd keep right when you talk in sense. But that doesn't even matter. So the main thought, be yourself, try not to, you know, and that's another part, yeah, that's another probably, that's the last part I'll get aggravated at is just like the way that, you know, kind of the marketing goes and advertising, yeah, it's just the voicing that you get so loud and obnoxious and in your ear, and that accent, you know, wherever you're from, it might be, if you're from Britain, United Kingdom, if you're from Australia, from America, even wherever you're from, found Oh, I missed it. No. That's cool. So I was trying to hit out on the timing there and try to register out, but I'll try and register out at 45 now. Cool. Oh, you gotta hit it twice, and I missed it and messed it up. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's cool. I just put something up for everybody to see. My viewer comments show up on StreamYard. It's an example. Click on comments, it show up on there's little tutorials for people out there use StreamYard. If you want to use StreamYard, if you like to use StreamYard, what you have to do and have your comments displayed on the screen is just very easily click on the left side, click on the right side and the left side of your screen, whichever is that. Click on the side, and you on the comment you want to display, voila, it appears on screen. It's that easy. You can get across in 10 minutes. If you want it like right now, we can get it easy. $10.99. Right across the other side. Whichever way you need it, get it